Now go home and get your fucking shine box.
What'd you get for Christmas?
What?
What'd you get for Christmas?
Me?
Yeah.
Don't know. Toaster, frying pan.
You do know.
Yeah, but you always say don't know before you start listing stuff, just in case.
Fair enough.
T-shirts.
Frying
I don't really bring anything with me up here though, because I don't have that much space. So it's gonna come later.
Did you bring your toast in your frying pan?
Nah, that couldn't fit that in my bag.
Fair enough.
It'd be too heavy. It'd be too heavy as well to walk with. Well, for Christmas is a PCR test.
Christmas, I need a lint roller.
What is that?
Because you know the things you roll on like t-shirts and stuff to get like all the fluff off of them. I got a new hoodie and then I put it on like without washing it, and like all the fluff is my t-shirt's covered in fluff now, and I washed it and it's still covered in fluff. It's just like yellow all over the top.
That's really annoying.
That's really annoying. I have a lint roller somewhere.
The lint roller.
Yeah, this goes. I don't know. Stuff gets moved in this house.
Oh, there actually are PCR tests available now. Man,
I did one today.
there's literally nothing the other day. Not like nowhere in the country you could be able to go and get them.
Oh, Matty, I think I left my bottle at your house.
I think you left a game as well, and like a cartridge.
Did I?
One of you did.
What game is it?
I don't know. I'll go get it.
Chili. That's okay. It's okay. We did. That Mario Kart.
Mario Kart Deluxe, and then
Has it got Animal Crossing inside it?
Animal Crossing.
Yeah, they're mine.
Well, they're mine now. So
No. And there's my leopard print bottle. I think I left that there as well.
how much do you want it for?
I'll give you nothing for it.
How much will you pay me not to touch all these contacts?
Contacts.
Yeah, on the back of the thing. These precious.
All right
little-
then.
don't scrap.
I'll give you a lifetime worth of friendship.
So I shouldn't do this on the desk.
So I shouldn't do this.
Ah. Yeah, I'll keep it really safe.
Nobody no.
Gives it to the dog. Fetch. Swallow. Swallow.
Said to your mum.
All right, top 5 movie moments of 2021 according to UK release is what we're doing.
According to us.
Huh?
I thought it was top 5 movie moments according to us.
Yeah, what else is going to be according? What?
So why are you talking about UK release, man?
It's the UK release.
Whatever.
Because most of these films came out in America in 2020, realistically.
It's according to us.
Actually, no, a lot of them did come out in 2021. A lot of the Oscar films came out in 2020 in America, but yeah. If the UK release just makes things so confusing because I just follow films. I follow the discourse when they come out in America. So the idea that certain films are like The Father is a 2020 release in America, technically, really kind of scrambles your brain. But yeah, within our top 5 movie moments of 2021, rather than top films,
According to us.
yeah, we didn't do anything. Actually, we didn't do anything last year. We didn't even do top films. But I feel like this is like more fun because you can like talk about a specific moment rather than just generically talking about the film, which you might have forgotten about. Whereas the moments actually forces you to remember something that actually happened and explain why it was good or interesting to you. So yeah, this is the thing we're doing instead of the head-to-head this week. Gonna go from 5 to 1. Everyone goes around, says they're 5, says they're 4, 3, 2, 1 in that manner. So yeah, that's how we're gonna do it. Do I want to go first? Nah, Ross can go first with his number 5.
All right. So my number 5. This is really hard to think of. I think my top 2 were easy. Then I just had like a load of other moments I wrote down, and I had to pick 3 out and then put them into 3, 4, 5. But it ended up being 5, being in Free Guy when he has the battle with like the big version himself. It's like he has the battle of the like unfinished programming version of the big guy, and like he's just saying things like catchphrase and stuff. And then in the battle, he gets out like Captain America's shield, and it's got the little Chris Evans cameo and stuff. And then when he gets a lightsaber out and it's got the Star Wars music and stuff, I just really like that bit of the film. It got me excited, but I remember being excited when I watched it. So yeah, Free Guy did that battle is number 5 for me.
I actually like Free Guy, but that's the moment I hate more than anything in that film. The whole all the Captain America stuff, and doesn't he get a
Well, cool. I
lightsaber?
enjoyed it.
He gets a lightsaber
Yeah.
out, lightsaber out, all of that kind of stuff. Just so cringe. The Disney flexing going on. It's like the worst part of films right now. That I hate that moment. And then you even get the like distorted version of the Mariah Carey song playing as well over the climax. Yeah, oh my god, that's like the word. I hate that part of Free Guy. Other than that, I actually kind of like Free Guy overall. Yeah, Jodie Comer as well. It's cool. Matty, what's your number 5?
I think, well, talking about Free Guy, I think it has like everything on paper, so it should be a good film. Which didn't like it. It just felt like it just didn't hit. Like it was like it filled the time, but I feel like just like there's no chemistry between any of the actors, and I don't know. I feel like I've frozen.
No.
Okay, there we go. My screen froze. And I don't know. It just feels like Ryan Reynolds is just a bit too sarcastic to the point he just plays the same role in every film now. Like it was good for Deadpool because I feel like that's what it is. Like he's perfect for that, and it just gets a bit too much like Red Notice, and then again for like this film. So I don't know. My number 5. I was kind of because I haven't actually seen that many films. And there's a lot more films that I wanted to see that I'm pretty sure would be better than this. So my New Year's resolution is to watch more films. But I'm going to go with The Last Duel. It's not so much. Well, I suppose the moment is the third end, the last third of the film, where because you see the whole film 3 times from 3 different people's perspectives, but of varying scenes because different people weren't in different scenes. So I kind of like that and how it's set, like in the Middle Ages or whatever it was. It's not really what the truth is. It's just what people say and what people believe and who has more credibility. And it's how it kind of starts off where you think everyone's kind of admirable, apart from obviously one person. And then you kind of see how everyone's to blame, basically, and everyone's an awful person. And even they think they're so clouded by their own like vanity that they think they're actually a nice person, but everyone's just looking out for their own self-interest. So it's when you get to the last third of the film and you see it from her point of view, that things start to like really hit, like how like the gravity of all the situations. So yeah.
Yeah, I watched The Last Duel the other day. It actually goes so hard. It's kind of mad that it was even made. I don't really. It feels like a film that should have come out like 20 years ago. They don't really make that kind of film anymore. Like a battle period piece, medieval setting, all that kind of stuff. Like that doesn't really happen. It cost 100 million, and then Disney, obviously, it was one of the ones that was made by Fox, and then Disney bought them, and Disney just didn't give a fuck, didn't promote it at all. So it made like I don't know, like $20 million or whatever it was. They at the global box office. But yeah, this is so sick. It's very smart. The kind of social commentary, and then even then after that, I had this is like my honorable mentions, just the actual duel as like a big moment of the year at the end. It's like you have a lot of like political intrigue, interesting character developments, a lot of like the way how they do the free perspective thing, the little subtle ways they change it each time, like the scenes that you see. All the performances are great, and then you just get Ridley Scott, probably the best person to do a battle like that in terms of stage and everything in the business. Like you just get him to actually just shoot a battle right at the end of all this, at the end of this 2.5 hour really cool movie. So yeah, that was in my honorable mention. But yeah, The Last Duel sick. Everyone should watch that. It's on Disney Plus.
I was going to say, Sorry, I was going to say as well that for a film that's called The Dark Last Duel, and the duel takes place right at the end, it could have just been like a 2-hour thing of people just waiting for the last duel, and it could have just been about the violence. But by the time you get to it, you don't really mind because you're so intrigued by everything that's gone before and all the talking, and battles like mixed in and out throughout really well. So it's a really well balanced film as well.
Yeah, and you're sitting there like, this is so fucked. It's like she's the victim, but if it's these two men are fighting for her life in a sense. Like if Matt Damon loses, she dies, because that's how it works. Yeah, it's just mad. The whole way it's structured is very mad. Yeah, cool movie. Mason, you're number 5.
My number 5 is when we first go back to the 60s in Last Night in Soho. I think that was what I was really looking forward to when I watched the trailer for the film. And then when you're actually in the cinema and you kind of live out that period, like that moment in the film, it just slaps so well. And I just love the interactions between Anya Taylor-Joy and I forget the other actress's name, to be honest. But I just love the scenes like when she's walking down the stairs and you see like her reflection. She's just so confused because she's like, what the fuck is going on? And just like it's just really interesting because further on in the film when they interact, she's more comfortable with the fact that she is this person. But the first time we're introduced to that, it just feels so unique because she looks as worried as we are, like as she's like running down the stairs because she's just so confused. And just equally as well, Anya Taylor-Joy is just such a good actress that it just works perfectly having this thing going on. So yeah, it was really, yeah, that's my number 5 because watching the trailer and then watching it again afresh, I was just like, oh yeah, it slaps.
Thomasin McKenzie's the other actress. She shows up in The Power of the Dog for like one scene or 2 scenes. It's very random. I feel like just because The Power of the Dog was filmed in New Zealand and she's from New Zealand, it's like, oh, you'll just come be in this film for 5 minutes. So yeah. But yeah, I like her as well. She's done some other good stuff. All right, my number 5. I've gone for, I did the same as Rob. I made like a short list and kind of whittled it down into a 5. And I was kind of thinking, what films do I want to make sure are represented as well as my favorite moments. But I went for something in West Side Story. I really love West Side Story. Trying to think of what was my favorite moment from it. I considered doing the opening shot, which is really cool, like kind of panning over the ruins of New York, showing what these two gangs are fighting for, which is nothing. Like it's about to be the whole environment isn't really anything to be worth fighting for. Yeah, here they are. But I went for America because I heard Spielberg talking about filming this. He's talking about this on a podcast. He was talking about filming this because obviously America in the original, I reckon it's probably the most famous song from West Side Story. And the like choreography and the way it's shot on the rooftop in the original is also iconic as well. So it's interesting to see Spielberg talk about how he wanted to reinvent that in the remake and how he wanted to approach it differently. So by doing it on the streets, it's kind of like a celebration of Puerto Rico on the streets. All the people like leaning out their windows, just real joyful vibe going on to this version of America. And also Ariana DeBose, who's an amazing, I think is it Rita? I think that's what the girlfriend's called. Yeah. She's also amazing. But yeah, America in West Side Story, just really fun. Great film. All right. Number 4. Ross, what have you got?
I just want to say quickly, Mason's number 5 was also on my honorable mentions. I really like that whole bit. Like when she first starts having the dream sequences. But my number 4 is from The Green Knight. Right at the end, there's the whole bit with the kind of montagey bit, and then it ends with him. When he's sitting on the throne, the door's getting battered down. He starts pulling out his like intestines, and his head just rolls off, and it cuts back to him with the Green Knight, and he's like, "I'm ready now." And then it ends. It's a bit of an open ending, but it's how to do an open ending right. I think I wasn't sure about it when I first watched it, but it's one of them films that I sat on, I thought about. And I really liked that ending. So yeah, that bit, I think the head rolling off was really cool. How they did that, it kind of just leaves a shot on his head for like a few seconds, and him just being like, "I'm ready now," because it's kind of like the whole film is built up to this, and him being a stronger person, etc. And it all kind of it pays off, but within an open ending way. So yeah, it was different, and I think it was probably one of the better films this year as well. As I say, I wasn't sure about it at first when we first watched it, but I sat on it, I thought about it, and yeah, I liked it. I like it a lot more now, and it's made it 4 for my list.
I really liked it the first few. I reckon if I rewatched it, I probably would have put that moment or something else from there in this list. Because yeah, there's something really special about that film. I think I need to revisit. That's the problem doing this list when you have to like think back about what really grabbed your attention. Something, and it's like even though certain other moments might have been more impactful in the moment, if you rewatch them, they might not be as great. Whereas if you watch something like The Green Knight that's so like expertly put together, it might have more of an impact second time round. So that's the trouble putting together this list. All right. Mason's number 4. Did I go to Matty first? Doesn't really matter, but go to Matty. Fine, Matty. Did I? No, I went to Matty. Yeah, I did. Matty, go.
My number 4 is more or less, it's not like an amazing deep move. Well, actually, it's quite deep. It's just more of an action scene that's a bit of fan service, which is good. It's nice that the director listens to what people want to see and then puts it in the next film. And it's A Quiet Place too, with the opening of where you see what happened when the aliens first hit the small town. And it's something I'm glad they didn't try and tackle in the first scene. I'm guessing their budget was a little bit less. And the first scene, the first film, sorry, is a bit more pure. And then to address it properly in the next film, even though it's not necessarily important to the plot, and they still write it into the plot where you see Cillian Murphy early on and explains those kind of things. But I think that's really, really nice. And it's such a terrifying scene because you know most of them are going to die, but you're not sure who's going to die. And obviously you know the main characters don't. But just watching that in like just a big open place is just a really powerful scene for something that's just a bit of action rather than something that's trying to be too kind of like emotive or dramatic, if that makes sense.
This is another one. This is like the first film, I think, that like reopened cinemas. Definitely the biggest film when cinemas reopened. And I really liked it. And yeah, that opening was mad. So I should have had that, but I was even thinking of it because it feels so long ago now. I wasn't even thinking about Quiet Place 2. But yeah, that opening was very mad. I think that they might have released the opening like as a promo clip before the film came out. I feel like I saw it on Graham Norton or something, or parts of it. I'm pretty sure that was like, we're gonna see it. But yeah, I think like we're gonna see a little bit about how the day the world changed kind of thing. So yeah, that was really effective. Interested to see what there's gonna be a part 3, isn't there? I'm pretty sure there definitely is. Yeah. So yeah, interested to see what John Krasinski continues to do with that franchise. All right, Mason, number 4.
My number 4 is the ending of Lamb. I think the only reason I actually chose to watch Lamb was I remember watching a Everything Wrong With video, and they made a joke about Lamb because I think Lamb's been released for quite a while outside of the UK. So I was like, yeah, okay, sweet, I'll watch it. When I saw it was in cinema the other week, and yeah, the ending is probably the only film this year where I've like the credits rolled and I just went, okay, like that was a bit of an experience. The past like hour and 40. I don't know if anyone else has seen Lamb, but at the end of the film, the lamb's dad kills the foster dad basically and walks off with the baby lamb. And out of context, that just makes no sense whatsoever. But when it happens in the film, it's just so crazy. And the lead actress who's also in the new Alien, is it Alien? Or no, who's in Prometheus? You kind of see like in her eyes that she kind of works out what has just happened to her husband, and then she just accepts it and it finishes. And that's what I really like about the whole film of Lamb, is that as the audience, we're just kind of told to accept everything is normal within this film. So when there's this little like baby like sheep human thing, the human parents don't question it, and it's never ever seen as being weird for us as the audience. So at the same time, at the end of the film, when they kind of do that to the audience again, where she can see what's happened, she just accepts it. As an audience, we just kind of accept what's happened. The credits roll and you go, okay, that's that story finished over. So yeah, I think the end of The Lamb is just very unique, and it's just so funny at the same time.
Lamb's going to come out on a movie maybe next month, I want to say. So yeah, I'll catch it then. All right. Movie, my number 4 is Duncan Idaho's valiant death in Dune. That's Jason Momoa's character. He's my favorite part of Dune. I guess partly it's like a function of the film. Like he's meant to be not the kind of not the comic relief, but he's having the most fun and he's allowed to have the most fun in the movie. He's got the most charisma, I guess, whereas everyone else is quite stoic and serious. He's kind of doing his own. He's an impressive warrior, but he's also can take a joke, can make a joke, kind of thing. And yeah, I really connected to his character throughout the film. So when he finally goes out defending the what's her name, Atreides family, Timothée Chalamet and Rebecca Ferguson, by defending the fort, basically allowing them to get away, taking on these guys. I thought that was a really effective moment because of the relationship you built up with his character and because of how cool he is. Basically, it's a bit sad he won't be in part 2, but I thought Jason Momoa really delivered in Dune. So that's my number 4. Okay, Ross, top 3 now. What's your number 3?
So yeah, Matty touched on A Quiet Place Part 2. There's another moment for my number 3 that's in the film. I mean, I really like that scene that Matty was speaking about at the start, where it kind of goes back. But then I had written down pretty much the ending, or like near the ending, where it starts off with, you know, Cillian Murphy notices in the boat and he's like, get inside, he's running up, and then like everything from there with the monsters on the island, it's really tense. Especially once they go into the radio station and it's just Cillian Murphy and the daughter in the radio station. It's really tense. They're trying to hide from him, and then eventually she gets away to the speaker, the microphone, and puts her earpiece on it, and yeah, it kind of saves the day. But it's yeah, I really like that whole moment of them on the island. It's like calamity, and then it's really tense, and John Krasinski, considering obviously this is his first directorial film, like behind the camera, I guess, because he was in the first film, so I think he got to do a lot more with his like directing skills within this one, and yeah, it really showed. I enjoyed A Quiet Place Part 2 and that ending.
Need to rewatch it, I reckon, to familiarize myself with everything else in that film, because I remember it being good. All right, May, you're number 3.
My number 3 is probably a controversial one, is Zack Snyder's Justice League. Because I watched the first Justice League, which obviously wasn't his intended cut and was more or less taken away from him. And I think it's like an hour and 20 minutes shorter. Awful film, really bad, didn't like it, didn't make sense. Superman's overpowered, there's no point, spoilers, he comes back. There's no point him being in it, because the whole thing about is they need to be a team to work together, and then they're being a team at the end and they can't do anything, like they're rubbish as a team basically, because the other dude's so overpowered, and then Superman just negates the whole film, because then he comes in and just does it by himself, useless. So then when Zack Snyder, he brought everything back. It's basically the whole film, but more or less the ending as well, that I think basically made huge character changes, added in loads and loads of like depth to each of the characters, and added in their backstories, especially Cyborg as well, because he's a pretty unknown character. Added in more comic relief as well, but really emphasized the importance of Flash as well, that he's probably the most important person there. Does anyone mind if I go into spoilers?
No.
I'll avoid them. In case, is anyone going to watch it? Like, does anyone want to watch it?
I'll probably never watch it realistically. Maybe at some point in 10 years.
I'm gonna turn it down now.
I'm not
so
gonna
I
watch
can't
it.
hear you. I'm gonna mute mine.
Okay, mute yourself. So basically, like Flash, basically they lose in the film, and then Flash basically is able to run so fast around in a circle that he turns back time and is able to change the events of what happens, which is completely taken out of the original film, which is such a shame, because that's such a good scene. And the whole idea is that the main bad guy isn't the main bad guy. It's just like a henchman who's trying to look for redemption for something he's previously done wrong. And then the way they kill him as well is they basically behead him and send his head back through the portal to his boss. It's such a solid scene, and it sets up really nicely for the next one. And then the way Superman isn't as intrinsically important, and just like basically every part of the film is just so much better with this. And I'm so glad that they actually gave DC like a bit of like, I don't know, like payback. Like DC deserve this because they seem to get slated for every film they do, and it's nice that it's not actually the directors, it's probably the studio that's fucking everything up. And you can see when the director has like full control, it actually turns out really, really well. But the film still gets stepped on, I guess, because people still don't like DC, and the first one was so bad and they can't believe the next one would. But I would generally give it a chance if you want to, just because it's such a big. I think the comparison was more interesting than the actual film. I actually enjoyed watching the shit version than the good version. So yeah, the way they changed the ending and more or less the whole film for me, I think something that's really, really underrated.
I was more interested in less actually watching the film, just how the film even came to be. The fact that it was a whole fan movement actually led to Warner Brothers giving Zack Snyder an extra, I don't know, is it like it was definitely tens of millions of dollars they gave him to do reshoots and everything else that they wanted to do to create this. So it's kind of just this kind of a mad thing to happen as a result of fan protestations. So yeah, it's kind of more interested in that than actually watching the film. I actually listened to a podcast of people watching the film, literally the whole film. Whilst I was doing something else, I just had the podcast on. They just sit there talking about the film, which is an interesting experience. So yeah, I don't know. Maybe I'll watch it one day. It's not really high on my agenda right now, in part because obviously how long it is. But also, yeah, just not have much investment in that universe. But yeah, interesting. All right, Mason, you're number 3.
Mine's Daniel Kaluuya's "I'm a Revolutionary" speech from Judas and the Black Messiah. Although like we kind of like sometimes Rossa says it as a joke and stuff like that. I actually rewatched the scene today, and I was like, it is actually just insane as you're watching it. Like his acting, I think, is incredible in that film, and that scene alone, the way it just builds up, and you really like get behind him as a character, and you kind of feel like you're in a crowd yourself. Like I was sat at home and I was like, my days, yeah, like I was there. I wanted to be like, yeah, I'm a revolutionary, but it's just a very good film, and that scene alone, I think, is one of the more stand-up bits where his acting really does just kind of shine through as this really charismatic leader who was able to give such good speeches. So yeah, that's my number 3.
That's another one I'd need to rewatch. I remember it being pretty good, but I can't even recall too many like specific scenes apart from that one, pretty much. And he's like, yeah, he's one of my favorite actors. I think he's like a top 5, maybe even like a top 3 actor in the world, kind of right now, Daniel Kaluuya. So yeah, I can imagine his performance. Obviously, won an Oscar for that, best supporting actor. I can imagine that will still hold up if I rewatch that film. All right, my number 3. I've gone for the kind of decoy island siege at the start of the Suicide Squad, where we spend time with a group of characters. We watch them get onto an airplane, fly over to this island to mount an attack, thinking, okay, you're watching like this. Pete Davidson is there, a few other more important people. You're like, oh, I didn't realize this was the main body of the cast. What's going to happen here? They just like, how are they going to resolve this? What are we going to do with all these characters? And then they just one by one just get taken out in hilarious fashion at the start of the film. And I think the whole experience of watching the Suicide Squad was just very satisfying after how terrible the one that came out in 2016 was. Even though I've ended up watching that film several times somehow. Don't know if it's because it's always been on Netflix. I've ended up watching it. It's just so plodding and uninspiring, and the characters are a bit dead, apart from with a few exceptions. Obviously, Margot Robbie is the big star to emerge from that original Suicide Squad. But yeah, that opening is just so James Gunn, and it's everything I love about his style of superhero filmmaking. So yeah, that was a particularly enjoyable moment that stood out, even though that was that, I think that might have been June, maybe July that came out. Obviously didn't do very well at the box office, which is kind of sad, partly because it was on HBO Max, but even then still thought it would have generated a bit more interest considering the first one was really successful. But yeah, that's my number 3. Okay, going on to number 2. Ross, what have you got as your runner-up?
So my runner-up is the ending to Another Round. I mean, it's probably my favorite film of the year, and just what a moment! Like it's that you've got that song playing in the background, what a life, and then everything that goes along with it. Just kind of it rounds off the film so nicely and rounds off his character so nicely without Mads Mikkelsen even saying a word in that scene. Just it's just dancing. He's just dancing, but it just kind of brings the film to an ending. Everything, all the emotions he's felt throughout the film, like it's all just expressed through him dancing, and you don't need to hear him say a word. You just understand it, and you just watch, and it made me so happy watching it. I remember the first time I watched it, and I've watched it a few more times this year, a couple more times this year. But yeah, what a film! And then I don't know how to explain it really. It makes me happy even like thinking about it, and just what a tune as well to go with it.
Yeah, it's everything. The whole journey you go on with his character. First of all, you get the enjoyment of the actual premise, which is a fun idea, fun experiment. Then you have this emotional journey the character goes on when he refines himself, rediscovers what makes him happy. And then you have that a celebration like that at the end with a great song playing over it, him euphorically dancing. It's so nice and bright on this like seafront. Yeah, might as well say that's my number one, obviously. And yeah, my favorite film of the year. That's my number one moment. Ross's number two. Yeah, Another Round. I've seen it. So I saw it in the build up to the Oscars online. Then got to go see it in cinema. Still banged. Then now it's on Now TV now or Sky Movies. So it's always there to be seen again. So I watched it randomly of a morning a few weeks ago. So yeah. Another Round, dancing on the docks is what I'll call it. And that's alliterative title. That's my number one. Ross's number two. Matty, what is your number two?
My number two is Dune again, but The Arrival on Arrakis. Just the way they kind of come down on their ships, and it's almost like royalty / like astronauts. It's very like the scale of the scenes really, really impressive, and there's kind of like a tradition that's interesting to watch, that like kind of space travel and then like interplanetary travel is like built into their tradition. Like they've always had this, and they always like will. And it's like they're like royally fulfilling their duty of like taking this planet into like the ownership, and it's not like they just have family there, but then they have like their trusted advisors like Duncan's not there, he arrives later, by Josh Brolin as well, and like everyone's in their kind of like half ceremonial, half actual armor, and like everything's just so clean because the technology is like so far ahead. And it also, like the first time it introduces you to the way different planets have like completely different climates, and it's like some are hostile, some are like really like inviting, and then obviously Arrakis being just like a desolate, harsh wasteland. That's what I really liked about the film.
Yeah, Dune really did deliver, I think. I don't know if it's in my like top films or favorite films of the year, but like as an experience, I think it did deliver as much as I hoped it would. And I'm definitely looking forward to the to part two and anything else they do with that franchise. All right, Mason, your number two.
My number two is Andrew Garfield in Tick Tick Boom, but it's when he sings Boho Days. So that alone isn't like amazing, but I think he's just really like charismatic in this moment, and it kind of just highlights to me why I rate him so much just as an actor. Like it's probably like a 1 minute clip. I think I sent it to you, Leon, as well. I know you've seen the film now. It's when he's talking about all the people that used to live in the flat with him. He's going through like the 20 people that lived there in like 10 months or something. It's just really like charming, this whole sequence, and it's entirely carried by him. And I don't think you could really place many other actors in that scene to do it. And it really just kind of speaks to how much of a great actor he is. And then kind of pairing that with everything from Spider-Man 3, what is it called? Spider-Man No Way Home. That kind of like feeds into this. So yeah, I'd say that kind of that point from Tick Tick Boom is probably like my favorite part of the film anyway. But also, yeah, the main highlight is just kind of Andrew Garfield's performance.
Yeah, that's my favorite part of the film as well. That it's just so dynamic. He's just thrown himself all in. It's like a really narrow apartment, but you feel like everyone's so focused on him, and he's just captivating everyone across these very like tight little rooms. Yeah, it's really impressive what he does. Yeah, I love him as an actor. All right, my number 2 is. Am I gonna find it? There it is. Yeah, this was a late edition because King Richard is my second favorite film of the year, but I didn't really have like a moment really within the film that was like, oh yeah, that was a really great moment. It was all just more cumulative, the impact of the film and Will Smith's performance overall, and John Bernthal coming in and his wife, and even the girls as well. How impressive the kids are, like we talked about on the King Richard podcast. But in the end, I think we went for the credits because that's when it all hit. How much of a good experience I had was when the Beyonce song played. I didn't know Beyonce was doing a song for this film. I hadn't seen any of the trailers or anything. The Beyonce song just starts playing, and I always love when you get to see like the real people who've been portrayed in the film at the end. That's always a nice bit to get to see in the credits. And you have it here with the Beyonce song, and the beat just fit perfectly to the way the credits were. I don't know how to describe it. The way the credits were done, like it was like boom. Here's another picture. Here's another clip of Venus, of Serena, of Richard. So yeah, in that 2 minutes or whatever, I was like, yeah, that was such a really, really enjoyable experience. A great film, delivered on everything I hoped for. The Will Smith performance was actually good for the first time in so long, or good performance in a good film for the first time in so long. And yeah, hopefully it rounds it off by winning an Oscar. But yeah, those 2 minutes were great. Yeah, that's my number 2. All right, Ross. Oh no, we're here. We're the big round. Our number ones. Obviously, I've done mine already. This Ross's number 2. But Ross, was your number 1 movie moment of 2021?
So it's probably no surprise, but it's Andrew Maguire and Tobey Garfield popping up in Spider-Man. I mean, I watched it on opening day, and the atmosphere in the cinema, like when they popped up, like the cheering. I mean, that hasn't happened since like Endgame, Infinity War kind of time. So it's just so nice being in a film. I've seen it twice since then as well. It doesn't slap as hard the second and third time, obviously, but it's still cool to watch. But I think watching it for that first time, having that experience, I mean, it's gonna go straight into my number 1. Like growing up watching those films, it's like I remember being young watching Tobey Maguire ones, and then I think The Amazing Spider-Man is probably one of my favorite Spider-Man films as well. Like it was just amazing seeing them pop up. Like we all kind of knew it was going to happen. Realistically, we all kind of knew, so it wasn't too much of a surprise. But it's just everyone was waiting for it and everyone wanted it, and it happened. And I think they pulled it off well within the film. So yeah, that's my number 1.
I got a Spider-Man moment in my honorable is quite a hard word. Honorable mentions, but yeah, didn't quite crack the top 5. May, was your number 1 moment?
That's exactly the same as Ross's. The entrance scene for both of the other Spider-Men in No Way Home. Like, I don't think we'll get a moment like that in cinema where everyone just started cheering in cinema again for probably, I don't know when we're going to get that again, because that only really comes with Marvel films, I think, because they're the only like franchises that are like active at the moment. Like no one does that in James Bond, I don't think. I mean, I didn't see the new James Bond, but I don't think anyone cheered in the cinema when, I don't know, Daniel Craig walked in, or I don't know. There's nothing really of that kind of scale, both of like the level of production, because obviously these are like 200 million pound films, probably even more. But plus the nostalgia of like over, I don't know, what is that? Was it 2002, the first one? So basically like 19 years of nostalgia as well. And across it's bridged 3 franchises together as well. And then also that means the first Spider-Man film is now the first ever MCU film, not Iron Man 2008. So that's funny as well. So yeah, I don't think we'll ever get that. Maybe, I don't know, maybe in like 5 or 7 years, but I don't even know if cinema is going to be a thing then if there's like another super virus and everyone's dead. But yeah, I think that's probably the last time we'll see that kind of thing in a movie again.
Mason, you didn't have a Spider-Man in your first 4, I don't think. So is that, you also got that number 1 or no? Oh, he's looking disapprovingly.
No. Like I said, that was kind of paired with my Andrew Garfield one, which was number 2. My number one was just in general the score in Dune. I just think it's so good. Like I can try and pretend to pick one point, but I can't because the entire film it really like makes you appreciate how important the score can be for a film. I think, and it kind of just elevates every single scene throughout the film and builds up so much tension. And I feel like it's something that I've really noticed this year, and especially in that film, was like I said, just the importance. And any other thing I can think of similar to that would be like sound editing in the film with Deaf Guy, Sound of Metal. In Sound of Metal, that's like a film I'd look at and that really highlights the importance of say sound editing. And I look at Dune as being the same as how important the score is. So the score in Dune is actually my number one.
I really like before I'd seen Dune at the cinema, where I'd go to clean the screen, and the music we playing at the like the credits we playing, and it'll be that music where it's like dun, 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 dun. I found that's really satisfying. I got really hyped to see the film before I'd seen it. So yeah, I respect Hans Zimmer's work on the music in that one as well. Sound of Metal, that's another 2021 film. Did it any shout outs? I was thinking about it the last night. I was thinking about the scene with when he gets to surgery and he goes back to the guy running the kind of retreat that he's staying at. He's like, you can't stay here if you think being deaf is a problem that needs to be fixed, kind of thing. You can't really stay here. That's a really good moment. But yeah, so that's it. Those are the 5. Has anyone got any honorable mentions that wanted to shout out that didn't quite make the list?
Yeah, I had some, as I said before, I already had what Mason said about the first dream sequence in Last Night in Soho. I also had the Judas and the Black Messiah speech written down as well. That was on my honorable mentions.
Judas and the Jack Messiah.
Yes, I'll say, fuck. Yeah, I was with the problem of Doom where I couldn't pick like a certain moment. It was hard to pick like a certain moment. The whole film was good, but I think what you were saying about Daniel Kaluuya's death was not Daniel fucking Kaluuya. Jason Momoa's death was a pretty good moment. I also had the Suicide Squad on there. When the starfish battle at the end, and then he sees when he looks over and it's like, that's your mum, and then it's just his mum, massive. I thought that was really funny, and just like that kind of starfish battle there. And I also had the Palm Springs written down. The montage scene where they first start going around places, having fun, living day to day.
That's another one where it's so weird because I literally watched Palm Springs in like July 2020 because it was out in America on just on Hulu, and then it literally came out a year later here, and I watched it again. So to think of that as a 2021 film is so weird.
It's weird because you look at everywhere and it says 2020 movie everywhere, but it's a 2021 UK release, so I've got it on here. But yeah, I'd say it's a feel good movie. I mean, like especially that scene, that montage scene. I do love a good montage, and that is a good montage scene when it's having fun. He just goes like, "Okay, get a bomb in it," and just shoots it into the air with a crossbow, that kind of shit going on. There's randomly drive a plane, that kind of stuff. It's just fun, that whole montage, and yeah, I've put that more honorable mentions as well.
My Spider-Man moment was when Dr. Osborn kind of switches, like when they're all in Peter's apartment, and he starts to revert to the dark side because Willem Dafoe is just so like terrifying in the moment. That's where I felt I was watching The Lighthouse again when he's staring down at the camera menacingly. There's just something about his voice and his like bulging eyes that are so like perfect to, I don't know, to just intimidate you and scare you on screen. Like he's just such an incredible actor at doing stuff like that. So yeah, I thought he was the best part. Him and Andrew Garfield the best part of Spider-Man. But yeah, I particularly enjoyed that moment when he switches. You're like, oh no, shit really just got real right now.
Yeah, I'd like to change my moment. That's actually my best moment for Spider-Man. No, because in the cinema, I was like the whole cinema. Yeah, everyone cheered when Andrew Garfield came in, but when that scene happened, everyone was like dead silent. Like you could hear everything as that happened. That was such a solid scene, and it all kinds of like goes like underwatery for Tom Holland, and he's trying to figure out what it is. And yeah, he's such like a menacing, like he's just psychologically and physically able to best all the Spider-Men in that film. So that's what also makes the ending so powerful, when Tom Holland literally just tries to beat the crap out of him and kill him. So that's like another nice turn. Yeah.
Yeah, Willem Dafoe goes really hard in his Spider-Man.
Mm.
Anyone else got honorable mentions? Mason?
I was the same as you when it comes to King Richard. I just wrote down King Richard, but I didn't know what to put, and I was trying to pinpoint one bit. I wrote the montage of them training, but I was like, that's not that stand out, but it's just trying to think of something to pinpoint. But like you said, I think you kind of rounded out quite well with the credits, because I love that montage anyway, but also you just reflect on the film you just watched, and you're just like, yeah, it gives you like 2 minutes instead of just standing up and walking straight out of the cinema. It gives you like 2 minutes to digest it and be like, yeah, solid. Other than that, I've already kind of mentioned Sound of Metal. I've like with the sound editing, and is it mixing? I don't know which one it is, but it's good. And other than that, probably Anthony Hopkins' performance in The Father. I thought it was just basically, it was incredible, and I think it was this year for us, The Father. I think it was 2021. Yeah, again, that feels like forever ago watching that, but his performance, I think I rewatched the film a few months ago, and it's just insane. I've never seen. I'm trying to really hype him up here, but I forgot what illness he's portraying. Is it Alzheimer's? No.
Yeah.
Yeah, I've never seen it portrayed
It's,
that way.
it's dementia.
Oh, dementia. Yeah. It was incredible. It was incredible.
My last one is Ana de Armas when she turns up in No Time to Die. That's the best 5 minutes. Like she just looks great. She's really funny. It kind of is this. There's a different tone. Like you can't really do that tone for the whole film, otherwise it'd be a different movie. And they're trying to do something really emotional. But that's where this is very light in those few moments, very playful. The chemistry between her and Daniel Craig is really solid. So yeah, that is just a great 5 minutes going on there. It's kind of a mad year for her. Yeah, that as well. Kind of a weird year for her. Thought she was going to be a bigger. She had like three films coming out this year. Only Bond came out, and she's only in it for a bit. And then the film that she was meant to be in, the erotic thriller with Ben Affleck, that's going straight to streaming now. It's not even going to be in theaters because of Disney. So yeah, I think she's gonna be a big star still. She already is a big star, but she's gonna be even bigger. All right, those are our top 5 movie moments of 2021. Ooh, rounded up nicely.
So, like with the first one, it's an actor or actress, and it's their top 5 films according to, is it Rotten Tomatoes?
Oh yeah.
But the way in which you score points is that you want to guess the places 5, 4, and 3 as they're worth more points. So you can go for the obvious answer, just a banker point. Whereas obviously, if you get the 5th highest film, you get 5 points.
We have to play by ourselves though, because we can't be conferred because we're doing it over Zoom.
Yeah, there's no teams, mate. There's no teams.
Yeah, right.
Okay.
There's a paper out then.
Or should we just do 2 answers? Would that be easier? That'd be quicker. 2 answers.
Don't know.
Nah, because then
Go on, let's do 3.
All right, I'm gonna go for the whole 3. Okay, cool. All right, Okay, so
I've still got time.
give me the top 5 films that Emma Stone has been in, according to IMDb.
Oh, fuck off.
Emma Stone.
According to you've been Rotten Tomatoes.
Oh, whoops, sorry. Wrong time.
Oh yeah, it's a completely different thing, Nixon.
Oh, sorry, mate. I'm
I
not
was
used to
thinking
this
of
hosting
watching,
stuff.
In future, it'll be according to Letterboxd. That'll be better.
Yeah, it'll take over one day.
Yeah. Okay, I've started the timer. So
How long do you get?
got?
giving you a minute. I think that's quite fair.
Minute.
Mate, that's quite a long. What are the viewers going to
Bloody
listen
hell.
for a minute?
It's all right. We can talk as we do it.
Oh, this is a good time to put the sponsor in, actually.
Oh yeah, what's the sponsor?
Headspace.
What's Headspace?
Well, Headspace. This is where it starts.
You've got 30 seconds left, guys.
Oh, I haven't been doing any.
Shit.
Was she even?
Now, the sponsor of this video is MeUndies. Your undies? Yes, MeUndies. MeUndies is the soft fabric underwear that touches your nethers and keeps them soft, aired, and non-sweaty. Non-sweaty, yes, that's right.
5,
Yeah.
Wait.
3.
If someone else has to film, do you get the point taken away? Is it like categories or is it?
No, I don't want that. No.
Okay.
Okay, ready?
Oh, I've got 3.
So the first film is The Favourite with a 90.
All right. So I only get 1 point for that.
Yeah, you get 1 point for that.
So wait, so what?
Okay.
That's number one.
That's number one, so you get 1 point.
Yeah, 1
Yeah.
point for number one, 2 points not. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah. So in second place, we've got Birdman with a 91%.
Birdman.
So
In
if you
third
put
place-
that as number 3, what happens?
No, your list hasn't got any order.
But
Your 3 films that you pick don't have an
You just
order.
name
Oh,
3
oh,
films, and if
okay.
you get
You have to name
yeah,
3.
so you got 2 points for that.
okay.
Have you
Yes,
named 5 films now?
No, I put 3.
Okay.
In third place, we've got La La Land with a 91%.
Shit.
I would put that if I
3 points for me.
And then in fourth place, we've got Zombieland with a 90.
Shit.
What? 90? Jesus.
Yeah. And then in fifth place, we have Superbad with an 88.
Oh yes.
What the
5
hell?
points.
Damn. I only got 1.
Oh, so I get 3 points. I don't know why I
Yeah,
didn't put La La
lovely.
Land. I wasn't thinking straight.
Yeah, me neither.
Easy A.
Sweet. Okay. Now, next one. The top 5 actors or actresses. This is in films or TV, according to Google searches, with the first name David.
David.
Yeah.
David. That's interesting. It's interesting how American is. So,
I think. Oh shit! I think the first one was quite surprising.
Really?
Yeah. Yeah. I wouldn't expect him to be the most famous David.
fucking hell. Who's even famous now? He's even an actor called David.
Why can I only think of footballers?
David De Gea.
Yeah, David James,
David James.
local celebrity.
David.
David Blaine.
I don't think anyone cares about him anymore. Don't know. Oh,
Is it
there's the
Phil
obvious.
Anthony
Oh,
Nichols?
there's the obvious one. Oh, but yeah. Wait, how many do you put? 3?
Yeah. 3 again. Yeah.
There's one I'm not sure what to put because he's on TV, but he's not an actor.
No,
like reality
TV. There is a few TV ones on here. That's my only hint. You got 10
They
seconds.
like
left.
aren't actors.
Well, they're actors because they're on TV.
No, but
sorry, they act on TV.
Oh, right, they had to act because
Yeah, yeah.
okay.
Sweet. All right, you ready? That's a no, but
Yeah.
yeah. You guys ignore me until you actually write down 3 answers.
I've got 3.
I've
But I
still
got 3.
2. I've got 2.
I can't think of a single actor. Okay.
You fucked it, Ross. You can only submit 2
No,
answers.
it's all right. I got
Okay,
9 points in the first
number
round.
one.
Anyway,
How many did you submit?
3.
3.
3.
3.
Right. So does anyone have a guess what they think number 1 is?
David Beckham.
Swimmer.
No, it's David Tennant.
What the hell?
Ah,
Yeah,
Is
trust
this
me.
English? This must be English.
No, it's
Nah,
not.
nah, I don't think it is. Then in number
Mm.
2, we've got David Hasselhoff.
What the
Oh,
Yeah.
I got
hell?
him.
let's go.
Yeah, I got him. I was thinking
Number
this fuck-
3, I don't actually know who this guy is. David Spade.
Oh, he's a comedian.
Oh, he's
Actor.
in like Grown Ups and stuff.
Yeah.
Okay. Number 4 is David Harbour.
Right.
Oh yeah.
And 5 is David Schwimmer. Schwimmer?
Oh yes, I got 5 points.
I got none of them.
See,
That's all right. I only put 2 answers, but I got 7 points from that anyway.
Thought David Beckham
Chappelle
would
would
be
have been on
obvious.
there, but he got cancelled.
Who got cancelled?
Chappelle.
Dave Chappelle. That's Dave, not David.
David.
Oh, shut up. Yeah, I'm Matt, not Matthew. Thank you very much. Did you mean Matt? mate?
Okay.
What? Who goes by David?
Final round. The highest grossing actors in Shrek.
Highest grossing actors. in
Highest
Shrek.
grossing.
Not
First,
Is it highest grossing? Is that right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Is
Who
it
got paid
just-
the most in these?
is it
films?
just the first one?
Well, and out of all the films,
No, just Shrek. Shrek one.
just the first one. Okay.
Yeah, the original, mate. Yeah.
That's
As in, who got paid the most for doing Shrek, or who gets paid the most?
no, it's highest
for-
grossing. What the films make.
Wait, what?
Out of all their films.
No, it's not. It's whoever got paid the most. Sorry, on that film.
What?
Yeah,
That's not what grossing means.
That's not
Yeah.
grossing means.
Your gross.
So the,
Oh, I'm gonna do-
the actor's salary, is that what it says?
I'm pretty sure that's what it is. Yeah, because it's when you like go onto IMDb, it's in order, isn't it? Top build.
That's
Is
not
that it?
that's nothing to do with
Top-
salary. That's just
Top
top
build
build.
is different.
Oh, Jesus Christ! Why is there so many words that just sound so similar?
Doesn't
So
sound
what
similar.
What does it say? What does it actually say? I need to know.
Ugh, why
the
is it
timer.
stuck together? Whose house has this been around? Ross.
Done nothing.
According to their billing.
Oh, billion.
Yeah.
So that's like, yeah, okay.
Okay.
Shrek. I don't really remember the first one that well. There's the three obvious ones.
Is it
That's
still
both
yeah,
obvious.
still is it still three answers?
Yeah, it's always free.
Why always three?
Oh, we'll do the bonus question for this one as well.
And the bonus ball. Who would actually crack the top five? That's interesting. There's like four, I know.
Puss in Boots is in the first one, is he?
No. Who else?
Is he not?
No.
No,
Cross
we shouldn't have said that.
that.
Oh God.
I can't
Fiona.
think of anyone else. So I'm just gonna.
You've
Who's
got
the
10 seconds left.
Who would be number five? I can't even think of another voice.
Don't mix up the guy who's a serial killer in the Halloween series with the actor from Shrek.
Okay, so in first place.
Wait.
we have-
Let me just okay. I'm just gonna put this one down. Fuck it.
Are you ready?
Yeah.
We need three.
In first place, we've got Mike Myers.
Yes.
1 point for me.
I didn't put that.
In
You did.
second, we've got Eddie Murphy.
Yeah.
2 points for me.
In third place, Cameron Diaz.
Yeah.
3 points for me.
Fourth, John Lithgow.
Yeah, I put that.
And who do we think is in fifth?
I have no idea. I don't even know.
I
a
can't
fifth
think
voice
who's in
actor.
the first.
May? Any idea?
The dragon. I don't know.
Vincent Castle.
Oh,
It's in Company.
he's Robin Hood.
Joke thing.
He's French. He's
Right,
in Black
And
Swan.
then I'll give 2 points to whoever can get the bonus question right. In what century is Shrek set?
What, in the film?
Nah.
Yeah.
What else would
Write
it
it
be?
down
What
and
else would
give
it be?
answers.
Fuck me, hard question that.
I don't actually know. Like,
I must state it. It must be at the beginning. I don't know.
The
I reckon the
15th.
I reckon the 1200s, the 11th century.
11th century, no, what you're saying?
15th.
the 14th.
2 points to Matt. It's the 15th century.
Classic. It's
1600s.
classic. It's classic 15th century. You know,
Give me 8 for that. Yeah, big up.
14th century.
they had a cast one, I'm pretty sure. So
All right.
Sweet. And that is the game. Everyone tell me your points and I'll let you know who won. Although
wait,
you
how many
probably guessed-
points do I
Yeah,
get
that's
for the
the count.
bonus question?
2, mate.
That's dead.
Sorry. How many do you need to win?
At least 7.
I have 12.
Dead.
Pathetic. I have 21.
Jeez.
We got 16. What the hell?
And like that, Ross has started
Big
the
up.
year off. Absolutely
Lovely.
smashing. First winner of 2022.
Big up.
It's that super bad that did you.
Yeah, it is. I got 5 points off Superbad. And I got 5 points off David Schwimmer as well.
Yeah, I only got one. Only got 1 point for my Emma Stone one. Fuming.
Oh, peak.
I thought everyone loved Easy A.
It did, yeah, but it's Rotten Tomatoes.
Yeah, which is the people.
I feel
that's the
this
critics.
critics.
And I completely forgot about Superbad.
I forgot about it. I didn't even guess
I only
until like
thought
30
about it,
seconds left.
And then also forgot Amazing Spider-Man kind of got slated.
Yeah.
Yeah, unfairly.
And that's the game.
Nice. Thanks, Mason.
That's the game.
That's the game.
Miss Caruso, welcome.
Thank you.
Excuse me, I work at the beach house. Just let me know if you need anything.
Great.
Get up! Mommy, get up!
You don't have kids? Yes, I have 2 daughters. Hey, your mommy's in, girl. big girl. She's driving me crazy.
What were your daughters like when they were little?
I can't remember much, actually.
I saw you at the beach today.
I didn't see you.
I saw you.
The little girl lost her doll. She wouldn't stop crying.
Children are a crushing responsibility. Happy birthday.
Mama.
I'm working. I'm suffocating.
I'll give you 3 seconds to come back. 3, 2, 1.
The Lost Daughter. A woman's beach vacation takes a dark turn when she begins to confront the troubles of her past. Ooh. Came out New Year's Eve, the final film of 2021, coming out on Netflix. Olivia Colman, Maggie Gyllenhaal's directorial, I'm guessing writing as well, debut coming in here. Mason, what do you think of The Lost Daughter?
It really reminded me of Marriage Story in a sense where it's like this idea of showing, so like in Marriage Story it shows you marriage from the perspective of divorce and you like how serious it is and how draining it is on a family, and then The Lost Daughter shows us, for me it showed me just how long it is to have kids. Basically, like every film just portrays kids as being like really nice and just like, you know, wonderful, and this film is just so like it just portrays the kids as being so draining, and I think it is really effective in doing that. I think Olivia Colman gives a really good performance as well, and although I don't have kids, I can't relate to basically anything in this film. There is stuff I can still relate to, like when the kids are being really loud and annoying in the cinema. I think it's quite a solid film. I was quite surprised by it because I had no idea what it was about, like, at all. But I think it is really good. I think it maybe dips a bit at the end when you come to the kind of the peak of the film where she gets jabbed by the woman. It definitely does kind of drop down at that point. But all in all, I did actually quite enjoy The Lost Daughter.
A bit mad that she stabs her. That was quite a reaction to it. So I think she calls her crazy or something, or like, you're a fucking bitch, and then stabs her. Then, or you better watch your back, bitch, and then stabs her. I feel like, right, okay, it's like an insight to a whole different side of Dakota Johnson's character. Like, okay, she's probably from some like tough neighborhood. But yeah, I really like this. It was funny though. I didn't realize I was watching this as almost feeling like it was a different film for about 40 minutes because I thought Jessie Buckley in the flashback scenes was playing Olivia Colman's mum, and Olivia Colman was one of the kids. I think it's because the subtitles led me to believe that wasn't that Leda, because it would say like young Leda speaking on the subtitles, and so there might have been like the wires got crossed, and it said that for when one of the kids was speaking. So I just took that as like, oh, that's what's happening in these probably for like 5 or 6 flashbacks. I was like, oh, that's what's happening. Olivia Colman's one of the kids. Her sister was annoying. Maybe the sister went missing or something. That's why it's the lost daughter, and her mum. And the way her mum treated them in childhood kind of echoes her experiences as a mother now. And then she's also seeing what Dakota Johnson's going through on this island in Greece. So that was kind of funny. So when I actually realized, that's not what's happening. It's just a younger version of Olivia Colman, kind of recontextualized the whole film. which is fine. I realized it early enough to where it didn't affect anything. But that was a kind of a funny thing. But I thought this was a really, really effective. Again, I'd kind of just put it on there, like we like put it on here because it was a Netflix release. It's like easy. No one don't need to go to the cinema. It's just there. I saw it was Maggie Gyllenhaal's debut. Olivia Colman's kind of reliable now. It's just even if it's not going to be a great film, it'll be a great performance. So I thought, yeah, might as well just throw it in there, see what happens. And yeah, I was really impressed by her as a director and the way they handle the story, like kind of showing that it's not all women are like cut out to be mums straight away. Like you might not just be like elite at it automatically, and it's kind of not that it's like okay, but it's understandable that you might encounter these problems where you don't actually always want to be around your kids, and you might make some mistakes along the way. It's kind of the way I handled that was pretty impressive. I thought. Ross, what were your first impressions of the lost daughter?
I mean, I liked the film and I liked the performances, especially. I mean, you got Olivia Colman, who's always solid, but Dakota Johnson, I think, did a really good job at like having like Olivia Colman's kind of the way she acts, her voice, her mannerisms, etc. I think she did really good. Not to cut Jessie Buckley, sorry, in the past. I think she did a really good job with that. Apart from that, it kind of felt like a 2-hour long student film, is what it felt like. I don't know how to explain that, but I guess you might know kind of what I mean. And not to say I didn't like it though. I just think it was a very kind of stretched out premise that probably, let's say, you could probably make a short film with this that's like 15-20 minutes long and it would be pretty similar. But yeah, I didn't enjoy it though. I thought it was decent. As I say, good performances, kind of all round, and it's nice to see kind of, you know, Olivia Colman, Dakota Johnson, Ed Harris. They're all solid actors, and they all put in a good performance here as well. So, yeah.
Sounds like you were a lot lower than it on it, Ross, than me and Mason. I feel like the idea of it being a student film, I thought it was actually really kind of masterful. A lot of the stuff that Maggie Gyllenhaal was doing, in terms of like, I don't know, in terms of like some of the work with the close-ups, where it gives a lot of chance for Olivia Colman to put different expressions on her face. I feel like there's a full gambit of emotions going on. And it kind of shows how like scattered her mind is in places as well. I don't know. I thought the direction was pretty solid for a first time director in creating a mood. Yeah, Mason, you got a rebuttal to Ross there?
Yeah, I just kind of agree with what you're saying, really. There's that scene with Dakota Johnson where she's laying down trying to sunbathe, and the kid is just in her face constantly, like she keeps hitting her lap. Come on, let's go in the water, and then that drags out, but it's correct because it really like homes in on the fact that no one else is getting involved. They're just looking at this mum like, why is she being a bitch? Why is she not going in the water with her kid? Until one of like the aunties is like, oh, I'll go in with her, and it's like, well, although yes, that's her mum, she doesn't have to. It's not her responsibility. Anyone else can do it. And I really think, like, as a whole, this film just opened up an entire perspective to me that some people, it's not about not liking your kids. It's just about like motherhood like, not coming naturally to you, which is completely fine. Like you said, that's allowed to happen. And I think the director has done such a good job at putting that towards us. Where, I mean, at first, as I was watching the film, I was like, is this boring? Like, I really couldn't tell, and it was kind of like on the edge where I was like, I really can't tell if I'm really enjoying this or if I don't like it at all. I'm just bored of it. But after I like watched it last night and then thought about it today, I do actually like it. It is just really effective. And like you said, there's just certain scenes where you're zooming in on Olivia Colman's face or even Dakota Johnson's face, and you can just see like the pain in their face where they're just being worn down by kids. And yeah, it's just really effective. It is just really effective.
I think you could say it builds slowly to where you're not really sure of what kind of emotional journey we're going on for quite a while into the film. Like we arrive on this island. You get the sense that she's quite a lonely person. She's kind of awkward. She has some anxieties. She's looking for peace, but she's being disturbed by this family who are always like kind of there on the beach annoying her and whatever. And you're not really sure what her character's about, what we're going to discover about her, what basically what the film's going to be about. for a while. I guess you could say it builds slowly, but I kind of enjoyed that the mystery of that in a way. Okay, so who is this person? Why is she here by herself? Does she have kids? Where are her kids? How old are they? We learn that later in the film. And what does this all mean? What's this relationship to the family that she's encountering? Kind of what do they mean in relation to what's going on in her life at the moment that's drove her to be here by herself? She talks about being a professor. Has there been any like tragedies in her life or anything like that? I don't know. There's kind of a mystery to it before we get like deep into the flashbacks, and it really is structured in a way to like show, okay, here's the person she is now, contrasted against, and the relationship she has with her kids now, contrasted against what she was like as a young mum at first, and then also contrasted against Dakota Johnson's character and her struggles with motherhood. So yeah, I don't know. Was that one thing that you found, Ross? Like maybe it's kind of building too slow in the beginning. Like maybe you could just get to the flashbacks earlier, I don't know, and just kind of explore motherhood from the outset, I guess. I don't know. Maybe the start of the film could have been a bit quicker.
Yeah, I think it does build up quite a lot. I mean, it almost feels like a lot of the first part of the film is just kind of build up, and I wasn't sure with this one whether to wait for something to happen or not, kind of thing. And then I realized that it's not going to be one of those films. It's going to be one of the films where you kind of stuff happens. But I don't mind watching films like that. There's a lot of films like that, but I kind of worked that one out halfway through here. But no, yeah, I say it is quite a slow build up. Maybe I think with this one, I say it's 2 hours, but it could you probably could throw this film as like an hour and a half film, 3/4 or something. I think is a bit long at times, but I say I don't mind it though. I was never bored at any point when I was watching it. And I think that means to some extent that it wasn't bad, I guess, the way it built up. But no, it was I think I did kind of enjoy like watching these flashbacks and finding more about her. Does that make sense? Yeah. And kind of building up with the story and what you find out about her and why she feels so connected to this girl she keeps seeing. But as you say, it kind of takes a while for that to happen and her to kind of start connecting with the girl and that kind of stuff. It's a big build up to that, which, as I say, maybe that's where like the 15 minutes or so they could have cut down on this film, really. But as I say, I was never bored at any point, so yeah.
I forget that it opens with her collapsing on the beach, which we find out like what the reason for that is at the end. So that was another kind of layer of is this kind of a woman going to have a breakdown or what? Like what's caused this moment to happen? But even then, that happens, and then I didn't really think about it for quite a while until we're approaching the end of the film as to what could have led to her collapsing on the beach in that way. So I guess that's another little interesting jumping point. It kind of ties the film back to the beginning in a nice way. But also another thing I like is just being on a Greek island. And it's funny, like Greek islands they're both a fun, vibrant place to be in movies, but also it's effective in this way. Something about the noise of the waves and the blue skies is like an ideal setting for this emotional journey, for this person to like grow as a person, to reflect on your life and mistakes you made and stuff. There's something about it that's kind of I don't know why it works. I don't know, maybe it's because I guess the isolation you feel on an island allows you to reflect, I guess, and that's what it is. But even something like Before Midnight, you get a similar vibe. I don't think that's not as isolated, but they're still in something about the Greek setting there as they reflect on their relationship reminded me of what's going on with Olivia Colman in this film. Mesa, was the setting something that appealed to you in this film?
Yeah, I mean, imagine all the scenes when she's back at her apartment and it's like a 5-star hotel resort. It just wouldn't slap half as much either. It kind of makes sense that she's in this not run down apartment, but this typical Greek apartment. And yeah, it's just nice. Like we always seem to say that we always like a European city and stuff like that because it kind of just slaps. But again, yeah, for some reason now I think about it, if she was in a European city, it wouldn't work. She needs to kind of be on the beach, just kind of in these periods of silence to really like just reflect on what she's doing. And what's quite effective as well is that the flashbacks aren't direct like contrast of what she has experienced, in the sense where she's not on the beach in her flashbacks. Obviously, there's the one where she thinks she's lost the kid, but every time she's relating to the parent, to Dakota Johnson, they are different kind of settings. And it's just, I think it works because being on this beach is like what we associate with being relaxing and, you know, like having a good time. Whereas Dakota Johnson's character is clearly not. And it's because of the presence of the child. So it's a nice contrast. And I think the setting, can't really imagine it anywhere else, to be honest. London, maybe. I don't know.
Yeah, it was funny if you just set it in like an urban environment, how different it would feel more like chaotic the whole time. It's like you'd have more distractions on than just focusing on Olivia Colman and what's going on in her head and relating it to her past. I feel like if you're in a more chaotic environment, it would affect your viewing, I think. But I do like how like you said, like not relating the flashbacks directly to what's going on with Dakota Johnson. It's kind of like there's similarities between them in terms of not quite being ready or not being like fully committed, I guess, for want of a better phrase, like to motherhood, not understanding exactly how to be the best mum you can be whilst also being a happy person. But there are still like there's obviously differences in their situation. Like Olivia Colman, what was her name? As long as I keep saying Olivia Colman. I can't remember what her name is. Leda. Oh yeah, I like that name. Leda. Yeah, she's she goes to when she abandons the kids, I think she's going to like uni, some kind of uni teaching thing when she leaves them for 3 years. Whereas Dakota Johnson, I don't think we didn't get to know that much about her character. I can't imagine she's pursuing anything like that. It doesn't seem that way. It seems like she's just kind of tied to her controlling husband who she's cheating on. But yeah, there's obviously clear differences there in the characters, but they just share they have this thing in common in terms of their relationship to motherhood. Then you also get other parents in the film, like Ed Harris's character, who's also somewhat disconnected in a different way. He's kind of residing on this island. He said he's been there quite a while away from everything he knows. He's created a new life for himself there. So it's another example of like not always like being present in your kid's life. So it's like there's just different types of parenting. And I thought that was a useful thing to slide in there. But yeah, I think the performances are just so good. Like, I've already talked about Olivia Colman being good in everything. I feel like there's talk. I think she's going to get nominated again for Best Actress. There's even some talk that she might win. I think Kristen Stewart is probably going to have that look down for Spencer. But she's in most of the film, pretty much every frame, a lot of close-ups, and I think she completely delivers in every scene. Like, there's nothing really to quibble with in terms of her performance. She can play kind of relaxed in certain moments, like the scene where she goes for dinner with the young Irish student. That's almost a different person to the nervous woman sat on the beach when the family first time when they ask her to move, and she's kind of nervously like, no, I don't want to move, being a bit of a bitch. Although I respect it in it. Just, you don't need to ask me to move, I'm staying in my place. But yeah, different types, different strands to her character throughout the film that I thought was really cool. Ross, if you didn't love the film, did you love the performances? You talked about Jessie Buckley as well, another really talented actress. Yeah, you enjoy the performances in the film?
Yeah, as I kind of said earlier about how Jessie Buckley, she just did a really good job at picking up Olivia Colman's mannerisms, the way she talks, the way she kind of acts, and that kind of stuff. She does that really well, and I did notice that. And then so Dakota Johnson, I think she had a really good performance. So kind of because she had like, you can tell she was like tired of the kids, but she was part of this like family where she couldn't kind of, I guess, be herself in a way. Maybe I think she's softer than the like kind of harder shell she has to put on, stuff like that. So I think Dakota Johnson did a really good job at kind of dealing with being a character like that. Of course, Olivia Colman is just she's good in everything. And yeah, Ed Harris, I think he's quite a secluded man. He just wants to kind of get to know Olivia Colman and stuff, but she's closed off, and you can tell he's trying to worm his way in. And I think that's what helped this film, because I said I didn't love the story, I didn't love everything that went on, but I think there's a lot of stuff in this film that I did like, and the performances, the all round. I don't think that was a bad performance in the film, to be honest. I think all round everyone was good, even going down to the Will, the pool guy, or whatever, the shop guy. Will, he was all right. He did a good job. The professor, they all did good jobs, and yeah, I really enjoyed that. That was probably the best part of the film, to be honest. The performances above everything else, and I think that's why so many films like fail or flop, because they don't have a good cast, or they have actors that don't suit the characters. And I think this one has been really well casted in that sense.
And you get the pivotal scene already referenced when she gets stabbed, and that's as a result of she finally admits that she took the doll, which was kind of an interesting thing through line during the film. Like Olivia Colman takes this doll, Leda takes this doll belonging to Dakota Johnson's kid, and I guess when she holds onto it as like a symbol of her relationship to motherhood and trying to reconcile all these like crazy feelings inside of her head. So she's doing something obviously she knows is irrational to be holding onto this doll. And even Dakota Johnson, I like when Dakota Johnson kind of asks, "Oh, did you keep it because you thought it'd be good for our daughter?" Like it's like a parenting thing. It's like, oh yeah, she needs to learn to let go of her things, or no, she can't have everything all the time, or something like that. It's like, no, she doesn't really understand her actions. She's just processing a lot. But I thought that scene was really good in terms when she's kind of says, like it doesn't go away. Dakota, at this point, Dakota Johnson's understandably not prepared to listen to her, because like, you fucking psycho, why would you take it? We're literally printing out posters to try to find this doll because our daughter was so upset. Why would you take it? So I understand she's not going to be listening to any advice she's got in that moment. But how Olivia Colman was kind of hurriedly like, yeah, it never goes away. The kind of feeling of depression, I guess, but not the inadequacy as a mum. Like I guess if you're a young mum who is struggling, you just kind of assume, I'll pick it up eventually and it'll be fine. But maybe this film is highlighting, like, in some instances, you don't always get through it as it would be in a standard Hollywood movie. Like you might still be struggling into your late 40s, which Olivia Colman's character is in this film. Like it might not always turn out how you want it to be. You might still feel like you let your kids down or whatever, but that's not the worst thing in the world. It's just kind of a part of life. So I thought that scene was really good in communicating that Mason was that effective part of that kind of final, kind of I guess the pivotal scene right at the end before we get Olivia Colman talking to her daughters on the beach. But yeah, did you think that scene was effective?
Yeah, I think it just sums up Leda as a character entirely, really, because I feel like the way she like just knew immediately she was connecting to Dakota Johnson's character is like, and then at one point I was like, is she taking a doll to test Dakota Johnson, just to be like, yeah, like kids are cunts basically, like you're the same as me, I know you are, I can see it, like I wanted to accelerate it basically by making your kid piss you off even more. I was like, is this what's going on? But yeah, I think it just really highlights Leda's character, kind of her intentions, where she just isn't even, like you said, they say she isn't interested in her kid, because she makes comments to Ed Harris where she's like, oh, I hate speaking to my kids on the phone. And he's like, don't say that. But it just feels really unnatural in that conversation, because he just can't understand why she's saying that, and she thinks it's normal, and I guess in a sense how she feels. But building that up is then, like you said, you have this complete contrast where Olivia Colman's trying to help Dakota Johnson's character just a little bit, like to try and just open her eyes to be like, like you said, it doesn't get better, whereas that is just completely just shrouded and just it doesn't matter anymore. So having that kind of journey for Dakota Johnson's character, where you really want to kind of find out what happens afterwards in a year's time, to if she does change, if she doesn't, that's kind of cut short because of Leda's actions. Yeah, and I think it is satisfying because it's satisfying because it isn't for the characters. Like you want Leda to push that message to Dakota Johnson, but it isn't because of her actions. So I think I think it works.
Yeah, I think that was the moment I was like, okay, yeah, this all worked as a story. It's compelling emotionally. I was kind of interested in where it was going and how this doll situation would be resolved. That I was happy with the way they were able to tie up. And then you get that scene on the beach with the kids, which I thought was really interesting and good. Like the cliched version of this is like she's estranged from her daughters completely. Like they don't want anything to do with her, which is what you kind of what you'd expect, what you see in most films. If you're a bad mum, abandoning the kids for a few years, it's like, okay, they'll just have like a strained relationship. They won't really be speaking. Maybe it's like, I don't know, they see each other every few years or something like that, or they'd fully resent her completely. Whereas when she phones them and they answer the phone, it's like, oh, hi mum, we're so worried about you. It's like clearly they have, even if they haven't been speaking a lot, or there's still some tension there, at least from Olivia Colman's side, like they still have a good relationship after all this. Just like, yeah, you can be a flawed mum and have like struggles wrestling with the idea of being a mum at an early age and still be going through that into your late 40s. But that doesn't mean your kids are going to hate you for it necessarily. There's still other ways around. If you're still like well-intentioned on some level, there's still a way. There's still a way for a positive relationship to create there. Ross, did you like that ending? Seeing her have a phone call with her kids, knowing that things are still okay with them, even though she's still tormented, she's still struggling with stuff in her mind. Her kids still like her, basically.
Yeah, I wasn't sure because I think it's meant to be like, because it's meant to be like kind of an open ending thing. Like you don't know if she's dead or not, I guess. Because because she got stabbed, she kind of bled out, and then she woke up with an orange in the light. That's the way I kind of that's the way I kind of read it. So yeah, so that in that sense I wasn't sure whether I liked, because I don't know whether that's how you two kind of took it, but that's how I took it. And I don't know whether I liked that or not, because I thought that was kind of cliche, being like, oh, is she alive or not at the end. And I don't know how well they did that either, in terms of that. So yeah, I don't know. I think I was kind of, that's also why I'm not a massive fan of the film. I wasn't totally encapsulated by the end. I wasn't totally satisfied by it. What's wrong with me today? I'm not totally satisfied with the ending, and I think that was one of the problems for me.
Nothing about that even occurred to me with the ending. I didn't even think. I was like, it is weird, to be fair. You get stabbed, collapse, then just kind of wake up. I just see you actually just woke up, like it's a minor stabbing, bit tired, just wake up the next day. And the whole thing with the orange is nice, obviously a nice callback to how she would cut it, like cutting it with just having one peel come off. I've never done that. I've never been able to do that. I think I haven't really got that with my ability. But yeah, it didn't even occur to me that she could have died, and this is some other thing. I'm pretty sure that's not what they go for. I don't know. Mason, do you have any thoughts on that?
Yeah, that's what I thought they suggested, because of the way she just falls quite dramatically. I was like, oh, shame. Like it's like a murder story, basically, this film. And then that's why like the tone was really confusing. When she's walking back to her car the first time, and then like a pine cone hits her. I was like, this started to feel more like a horror film, whatever's going on in this film, basically. Then a kid goes missing, and I was like, is that the lost daughter now? Like this kid that's just like disappeared. And then at first I thought, like you said, Jessie Buckley was her mum as well. And then I thought, oh, maybe her sister's died. And then I was like, maybe her kid died. Maybe that's why she's not talking about her kids. So there was a few things that was a bit like up in the air. But I think that's just the whole point of this film, is that you kind of get put in at this point of Leda's life. And it's just like, you're going to understand eventually. But yeah, that's why I don't like the ending, because I was like, is she dying on the beach right now or what? And then when she woke up, I was like, oh, why'd they make me think she was dying? I thought that was supposed to be like a big twist at the end. Like, oh, she's not dead. She's alive. So I agree with Ross. I didn't like the ending. That's where, like, after the stabbing, I was like, oh, that's me kind of like zoned out now.
Might have to rewatch it. Genuinely, there's nothing about that made me think that she was dead. It's just like, oh, just got stabbed, just woke up on the beach. It'd be quite nice to sleep on the beach as well. So I genuinely, if I was thinking about that, it's like, oh, I don't being able to sleep on like a nice warm country on the beach. That'd be quite a nice experience. Yeah, that even occurred to me, so I might have to rewatch it, see what I think again. But actually, yeah, I like it. And I thought it was a nice way to round off a story about motherhood and the complications of it. Yeah, has anyone else got any more thoughts on? I've just forgotten the name of the film, The Lost Daughter.
Mine's just more about Olivia Colman. I just find her really impressive. Like at her age, how she's now really broken through and is so successful. And this is the way that I literally remember her Oscar speech so clearly, just because it was funny and it was quite like iconic. But the way that she was like, I remember she like shouts out to her kids and she's like, "This will never happen again." And then 2 years later, she gets nominated for The Father, and then she's probably going to get nominated again for this. It's just very funny that this actress that I only knew from, I guess I don't know from that because I forgot what it's called.
Peep Show.
Nah, not even Peep Show.
That's where I know from.
Comedy.
Hot Fuzz.
Hot Fuzz, yeah. Known her from Hot Fuzz, and then next thing she's just like in loads of TV shows, everything like that, winning an Oscar for Best Actress, and then yeah, she didn't think she could do it, and now she's literally been nominated like 2 more times since, or it probably will be 2 more times since.
Yeah, she's very like un-Hollywoody. Like there's nothing about her that just feels like Hollywood. Like the fact that Americans like love her seems weird when you look at what she's doing in something like Hot Fuzz. It's got a really funny, very British persona. So yeah, it's been mad. I reckon, yeah, sure. I'm pretty sure she's gonna get nominated. I haven't really looked at the best actress field, but I'm pretty certain something like this. Netflix gonna have a lot of nominations again this year. Probably Netflix is probably gonna win Best Picture this year. Actually, Power the Dog, which is really good. I watched that the other day, but it's decent. I think that's the favorite to win Best Picture at the moment. All right, so that's The Lost Daughter, first film of 2021 on the podcast, or 2022 on the podcast. Not a cinema film, but a Netflix film. And no, this is not when I say what's happening next week. Always forget this. At Corona Cinema on Instagram, at Liam Wayne 98 on Twitter, Spotify, Apple, Google, Amazon, Stitcher, Podbean. Next time we are doing another streaming film is Apple TV Plus's newest. Finished. I always forget if it's Joel Coen, because it's not both the Coen brothers, it's just one of them. I can't remember if it's Joel or Ethan. I think it's Joel. He's done.
It is Joel. I'm pretty sure it's Joel.
Yeah. The Tragedy of Macbeth, another Macbeth adaptation. I've heard very, very good things about this. So I'm quite excited now. Denzel and Francis McDormand taking to task Macbeth. So that'll be interesting. And then the head-to-head erotic thrillers. We did that on the previous structure of the podcast, but doing it in this one now, some more erotic thrillers. In Body Heat, which I've never seen. Should be interesting. And Basic Instincts, which I've seen several times and is a all-time classic. Until then, go well.
Cheers.
Yeah.